The circle of the world is older than we know. Humanity tends to view itself as the center of all creation, as though the mountains and seas, the rivers and the trees, the fires and lightnings and rains were all brought into existence to cater to its whims. The notion is a quirk of the species, a funny little oddity given the origin of mankind. But we speak of the world itself, and of that shadowed era that is whispered about in story and myth, the old time. Have you ever witnessed the dust funnel of a tornado raging across the expanse of the far country? Have you ever witnessed the approach of a cyclone? Those great destructive storms trembled to see such might even as you knew how low the odds of you surviving the encounter were. Have you ever quailed on the deck of a ship caught in a system, waves the size of mountains, unforgiving winds, the blinding spray of ice-cold waters, the awareness that the only thing between you and that churning ocean is a flimsy contraption of wood? There is a feeling that overwhelms the witness to such acts of nature. Helplessness. That human pride dies with a whimper, and one is forced to reckon with just how powerless and inconsequential they are. No more meaningful to the universe than a blade of grass or the lone ant. The old time was that helplessness, that powerlessness, compounded hundredfold. Devils walked the world then, demons, amalgamations of horror so chilling I cannot possibly describe them here. They were masters of creation. Great power boiled in their blood so that they could change the world to fit their desires on a whim. They reveled in their own potency and did not deny themselves whatever fell impulse came upon their wretched souls. Humanity then was no more than a speck to these beings. Those pitiful wretches scratched out their existence from the muck. The demons seemed to know the latent potential in humankind and thrilled at tormenting it. At some point, perhaps out of sheer curiosity or as a means of degradation, some of these devils bred with humanity. The children born of these unholy unions were called devil bloods. They carried within them some of the power inherent in their demon sires, a great might encapsulated within frail flesh. With this strength, they were free to walk a path untrod, to wander about the world, to engage the curiosity and sense of exploration, to invent and vent, to feel pity or sympathy or disgust at the races that had birthed them. The devils still ruled over all, but they exercised a peculiar restraint with these yellow-eyed scions of theirs. To the rest of humanity, they were blinding. Many bands of people even came to see them as demigods. They were seen as more palatable aspects, preferable to the absolute miasma of chaos that hung over all. And then came Use, almighty Use, sealer of gates, vanquisher of demons, closer of gates, father of the world. So does man now hail him. Use was the most powerful of the devil bloods, and he conceived in himself a notion that would alter the world forever. Perhaps he was moved by pity for his human cousins, or perhaps it was pride that stirred within him. Who can say for sure? None now living knows the reality of existence during such times. All our imaginings and stories are born of speculation and the desire to put words to the unknowable horror of this prehistory. All that is known is that Use, by means unknown and aid untold, turned against the demons. From the lowliest of them to the mightiest of their titans, Use bound them. He split the very fabric of reality, separating the material realm from its spiritual aspect and sealing the two from each other. One became the abode of man, of all things tangible, where order and reason governed the workings of the world. The other was hell, the realm of the unseen, abode of the howling abomination that had pressed against the world for eons. This event did not occur without great cost. Wars had raged, blood had been split, souls had been sundered, great sacrifices made. And when it was all done, there was a great calmness that came over all. There was the first true sunrise and the first night, then the second and the third. There was the first child born in a world free of torment, and then the second and the third. There was the first tribe that dared deny the primordial gods their customary human sacrifices, and then there was the second and the third. In time, whole generations were born that knew not the pain of a world beholden to hordes of demon lords. Slowly, each step less halting than the last, humanity walked forward into a future that none had dared dream could ever be. And what of Zeus himself? What became of this legend that had forged the impossible? He witnessed the result of his sacrifices, saw that it was good, and determined that it must be preserved. This last charge he gave to his 4 sons, and is the soul of the first law that he bade humanity keep. Laws and order, he hoped, would be the new creed of these free peoples, a fitting substitute for the chaos that had come before. Thus did the world and the age we now know come into being.